Hi, this is Jamie Pate for HeidiSwap.com, and this process video today is going to be using Journal Studio plus several We Are Memory Keeper tools, and we're going to be putting together a couple of travel layout pages. I have here on my desktop this pink and floral insert. I already have one travel layout in here already. I'm going to add some more from this particular trip to the coast, and I'm going to talk about a couple of these We Are Memory Keeper tools like the journal guide. It's a favorite tool of mine. We're going to talk about those features. Then there's the pocket punch board. I've used this quite a bit already. I love this whole interactive aspect of this tool. And of course, the mini paper trimmer. It's a must-have for any desktop. This is another tool I've used quite a bit. It's the number and symbol stencil and this cute, adorable little felt pouch. And then lastly, the mini envelope punch board. Also a go-to tool for me, and I'm pretty happy to have that around as well. I print most of my photos at home, and I like to have a border around them, most often anyway. And so what I like to do is use the We Are paper trimmer, the mini one, and there's a little notch there at the top. And so I line the photo up to the top, basically where that lines up with that notch, and then just trim away the excess paper. And that way it gives me the same border measurement all the way around my photos for each one of them. So I'm pretty happy how this turns out. So it's great to have these photos already ready to go for my album. And as I finish these up, these are going to be I'll just set them aside, and I'll have now a choice of photos to pick and choose from as I kind of work in progress through this Journal Studio insert and add pages and layouts to my book. So great little tool. I encourage you to get this for your desktop as well. It's great for card makers. It's great for just any kind of scraps that you need trimmed up. And let's get into our next tool, which is going to be the pocket punch board. Now, what's great about this and all of these punch boards is that the instructions and the measurements and the tools are all compact and included on the tool itself. So you're going to see here that I have the scoring tool, and then also this guide that gives me options for both a flap pocket or a notched pocket, and I have a pocket size and I have the guide size. I'll show you the guides here in a moment, and then the paper size that I need to trim out. So I'm going to be doing about a 3.25 by 4 pocket that's going to fit nicely on that journal page. And I like to use a post-it note to mark exactly which paper pocket guide dimensions I'm using, and that way I don't forget where I am. So it's just a little trick there. I've already trimmed my paper out. The long side is going to go against that top guide. Now on those guides, there's like a little short ledge and a long ledge. Make sure the short ledge is facing the paper. Note to self, I may or may not have messed up several pockets because I did not have those little guides pointing the right way. So I'm crafting a notch pocket today. So I am only going to need to be removing 2 corners, which I did that with my guide. Now I am adding in my score lines on 3 sides, and that makes it super easy to fold over. And then I'm going to use a sticky thumb runner and add my glue and get my pocket closed up. Now the top of the punch board includes this little notch punch out. So this is how the notch is made. Just line that up and you're ready to go. Going to add that to my book. And I've also added now a coordinating piece of Color Fresh paper to the other side of my page. There's my very nicely lined and bordered photo. Now the Journal Studio sticker book is going to be used a lot on this. I like to back up my stickers onto cardstock, and that way they're not flat on the page. I have this little 4x4 cutaway, but I've trimmed it down so it fits nicely inside my pocket. I'm going to create a little notched tab with scrap paper and staple that on there and finish embellishing this pocket until I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. And it's as simple as that. Oh, I wanted to kind of give some coordinating punch to the left side of the layout. So that's just a scrap of paper that was laying on my desktop that I added there. I am looking for and making a decision how I'm going to embellish the rest of this. Now, using the journal guide, I am going to just put that ruler right there and line up these letter stickers from the Journal Studio sticker book. And that way they're all lined up nice and even as I make my title. And it's just another, I mean, you can use this with any ruler, obviously. I like the see-through aspect. I like also that it's thick enough that I can usually, like I'm going to do here in a minute as I make my journal lines, I can line it up to an edge and it's going to all be good and straight and makes for some great lines. So it's just a couple ways you can use the journal guide. Finishing embellishing my photo. Now this is what I was talking about. I'm going to move that over to the left side so I've got straight lines going all the way down. I'll add the journaling later. Mini envelope punch board is a great tool for planners, for Journal Studio. I've already trimmed down the paper according to the chart. I think I'm making about a 2 1/4, maybe 2.5 inch size envelope. So using the instructions, I have scored my lines. I'm now punching out my corners, and then I'm going to fold this pocket on its score. Now when I go back in here and adhere the edges together, I didn't really line up my corners right, so ignore that. It's going to get covered up anyway. I am popping a little Journal Studio tag inside of there. I just trimmed it down a little bit, and it's going to be my interactive and hidden journaling. So I'm going to layer this photo onto my Journal Studio insert, and that is my mini envelope. This is a piece of ephemera from Color Fresh Ephemera, and I'm going to just add a couple more pieces in and around here, trying to decide if those glasses work. I have that tab and a tag, and you're going to see how it all comes into place as I just sort of move things around. I decided to add a stamp feature to that tab, and let me tell you, it was hard to leave that blue sky and palm tree by that pool right there. Now I'm using a complementary photo on the other side of this layout, and it's going to go in low, kind of going to complement where the photo is on the other side. I've carefully removed the Don't Forget from the Journal Studio sticker book, and I've got that in place. I'm going to use the journal guide again. I love those 3 little line places, and I'm going to add in with the number stencils. I'm going to number each of these lines. And how it turned out, I was pretty surprised and happy. These numbers remind me of the numbers that are on the lifeguard stations on the beach. So that was kind of fun how that turned out this time. Kind of a mistake, but it looks really cool and graphic when it's all done. And I don't show it in the video, but I just add some real quick notes as to what I don't want to forget from this trip. And that is almost finished with this page. As I add a stashed label and some Journal Studio stickers and in a sort of embellishment cluster here, and again with the little notch tabs that I like to add to my pages and under my photos. And that about wraps up 2 of these pages in this Journal Studio insert using a whole bunch of We Are Memory Keeper tools. Thank you for joining me today, and you can find more of the same at HeidiSwapp.com.